Good morning, dear students. This is Miss Yu Rai, and I have come up with the second part of the presentation of the water resources. Last time we had done the primitive method of irrigation, and it had lots of constraints. So, that constraints has led to the existence of a new method that is known as a modern method. Modern method of irrigation. Okay, so what exactly is modern method of irrigation? It is a method of irrigation where highly scientific methods are being used. And the modern method of irrigation, as the name is suggesting, it is the improvised method of primitive irrigation. It is known as the modern method of irrigation, and it provides water throughout the year. So in the modern method of irrigation, large amount of water can be derived, and it is derived with the help of the pumps that are there, and those pumps are run by the modern technology, or the modern pumps that are there, which is run with the help of electricity and diesels. So these kind of modern technology is used in the modern method of irrigation. So, talking about modern method of irrigation, there are various types of modern method of irrigation, and though there are various modern methods of irrigation, I have taken few of it here. That is the tube well, canals. When I say canals, it is not the canal in general sense. It means the perennial canals. And then the next one is the sprinkler irrigation, drip irrigation, furrow irrigation are some of the irrigation types of methods of irrigation, modern methods of irrigation that I have taken here. So I will deal with it one by one. Tube wells. So when we say tube wells, it is also synonymous with the lift method. It is also known as the lift method. So when we say tube well, it is a deep hole, a very deep hole, that is a hole of round about the depth of 15 meters. It's written in our book 15 meters, but in some of the books it is written as 20 to 30 meters as well. So all that is written, the depth that is written, it is correct. So those kind of hole is dug, and the water is lifted with the help of pumping machine, which generally operates with the help of electricity or diesel. So this is the tube well. Okay, and tube well has its advantages and disadvantages as well. We will deal with the advantages first. One is independent source of irrigation, meaning like in the canals, river is required for the provision of water in the canals. But here, no such water body is required. It just directly derives water from the from underneath the ground. So that is why it is known as independent source of irrigation. Next one is it brings clean and large amount of water in a very short period of time. Clean water and large amount of water can be extracted in a very short period of time, and it is easily extracted. It is not that it is very tough to extract water from the tube well. It can easily extract large amount of water. Next one is irrigate large area with the help of the tube wells. Large area or large agricultural field are irrigated. Then it is perennial, meaning perennial source. That means the water never finishes. It's continuously coming, and it's being provided throughout the year. So it has, since it is drilled from the permanent water table, that's why lots of water can be provided throughout the year. Now we will talk about the disadvantages of the well. So what is the first disadvantage? Depletion of the groundwater. So because the excessive use or extraction of the groundwater is being done, that is why the groundwater decreases or it depletes. Second one is water is brackish, meaning in some cases, if the water is not tasted before the tube well is being established, then sometimes the water may be brackish or salty. Third one is it is quite expensive. So it is very expensive, and because continuous supply of diesel or electricity will have to be there, so that is why it is very expensive. perennial canal. As the name suggests, perennial means water is there throughout the year, and it is a very effective source of irrigation, especially in the area where there is lesser amount of water. And as the name suggests, these canal are taken out from the perennial river. Sorry, here instead of river I have written canal. So it is taken out from the perennial river, either by constructing a dam, barrage, or the regulating system is there which controls the flow of the water. And this canal, it is not at all practiced in the Deccan Plateau region. That's because in Deccan Plateau region we all know that they have this rocky and very uneven topography that is not convenient. There are
for
various
digging up
advantages
of
of
the perennial
perennials.
canal.
This first advantage is provision of water whenever needed. Whenever and wherever it is needed, the provision of the water is there. And even in rainfall deficit area, the perennial canal compensates the scarcity of water. Second one is sandy patches gave good yield. That means in arid area like Rajasthan, there are certain areas where the which is considered as a barren land. That's because no water is there. But after irrigation, perennial irrigation is done, there is a good yield of agricultural harvest. And also in some places of Punjab and Haryana, it is now known as granary of the country, and it is also known as nuclei of green revolution. That's because of the canal irrigation. Next one is rich in sediments. Rich in sediments meaning the sediments are brought down by the river, and this sediments that are brought down by the river adds to the fertility of the agricultural field. And the last one is cheap in long run. That means initially the cost of building of the canal, it is quite expensive, but is cheap in a long run. When we look at the long term interest of the perennial canal, it is very cheap. Now we will be dealing with the disadvantages of perennial canal. So first one is seepage of water leads to waterlogging. If the canal is not lined, then what will happen is the water will seep into the soil, and this will lead to the waterlogging. Second one is ray or salt in the upper layer, meaning in the upper layer there will be ray or salt, and that will mix with the soil, and it will make the soil very unproductive or infertile. And the third one is marshy area becomes breeding ground for the insect. So where there is seepage of the water, then what will happen is marshy area is created, and these marshy area, it becomes a breeding ground for the insects, and this leads to occurrence of various diseases. Next one is sprinkler method. So sprinkler method, it is known as overhead method. It is known as overhead method. That's because here what is happening is a pipe is fitted with a nozzle on the top, and it is used to sprinkle or spray the water directly to the plants or agricultural field. That's why it is known as the overhead method. So this method has its advantages. First advantage is no loss of water through any via any cases. That is, it does not involve any loss of water due to seepage, or it does not involve any loss of water via evaporation. That is because it is passing through a pipe, so no evaporation will take place, no seepage will take place. Second one is the disadvantage. So what are the disadvantages of sprinkler method is it is very expensive. So sprinkler method, it is very expensive. It requires lots of capital for the construction of the sprinkler method. That's because pipes will have to be bought, and then the nozzle will have to be added, labor charges there. For that purpose, it's very expensive. Second one is waters small plot of land. It waters a very small plot of land. That means it cannot be used for an extensive agricultural purpose. Then the third one is cannot be practiced everywhere. So this kind of sprinkler method, it is either practiced in arid or semi-arid region, or in hilly or very uneven topographical region. It cannot be practiced everywhere. Those are the disadvantages of the sprinkler method. Apart from the various methods that we've discussed, there are other methods like the furrow method, where uh, a furrow is dug between the rows of the crop, and the water is directly added through that furrow that has been constructed to the field. That is the furrow method. Another method is drip method, where pipe is laid on the ground, and then holes are made in the pipes, and through that holes of the pipe, water is directly added to the root of the plant. That is the drip method. So girls, this is end of part 2. We will continue with this in the next part. As for now, please study well and stay home, stay safe. Thank you.